Okay, Sugar Pies, how we doing? How we feeling? Happy Monday to you. It is actually like 5:20. I'm actually headed home from work. I didn't vlog this morning. I was actually just like, the weather was ugly as it is right now, but like I thought, okay, I'll just come on for a bit. This is probably going to be a very short vlog because, well, it hasn't rained now, I guess, in about an hour. So maybe we're on the road to recovery. I don't know. But they say tomorrow this all should be past us, but today it has really rained. But yeah, so I don't know, I was just kind of thinking of while I was at work today, I was like, what kind of video do I, like what do I want to vlog about today, like on my way home? Is there anything I want to chat about? And then I was thinking about a conversation that I had with a friend of mine the other night, or yesterday, was it yesterday? We were just talking about expectations of people when they have done something wrong. Like, what are your expectations? And it just kind of got me to thinking about a couple of things. And this is going to be called like this is one of those vlogs that I'm going to be doing. Honestly, I thought about something that someone said to me like years ago, like when my son was small. And right after my divorce from my ex-husband, like a friend made a comment to me, like, with his father being military and him being gone a lot, like, that male figure in his life, like he's gonna really need one, like on a kind of on a day-to-day basis, like. And I was like, and I remember thinking, like, when that person said that to me, I was kind of like, never really thought of it like that, like, because honestly, since I had, since my son had been born, I had been like pretty much like everything, like, not saying that, like, yes, the father lived there, yes, I mean, but like I did almost everything for him. So I was kind of like, I've never like even thought about having like this male figure in my son's life. Like, I mean, yes, he has a father, and for all intended purposes his father will be there, and I don't feel I need to go out and find a boyfriend or remarry in order to have like this male figure in my son's life. And so then I was kind of like curious. I remember asking her, I was just kind of like, what are you saying? Like, and she's like, well, every boy needs a man to teach him different things. And that like, I don't know, I just like, it bothered me to the extent that I went home and I was thinking about that, and I was like, what's wrong with society today, in my opinion, okay? And to each their own. Again, you do you, boo. But I got to thinking about like all the things that really mattered to me in my life. And one thing for sure is I looked at my son and I thought, this is a clean slate right here. This young man is only going to know what he is taught and what he learns from the world. And as a mother, I would be doing him a disjustice if I sent him into the arms of the very men that we complain about as women, and not necessarily me or in general, or just women in general. I mean, not like, I'm not saying like every woman or anything like that, but like the same person that had said this to me had also made comments about like how her husband sucks at, like he's not romantic, or he's not this, or he's not that, or he never apologizes, or he whatever. I'm just using random things right now. But so you're gonna put your son in the arms of him to teach him to be not loving, not romantic, not to say I'm sorry, not to cry if something hurt. Like, how about you teach those things to him yourself? Like, how you want to be treated as a woman, so why don't you teach that to your son yourself? And so, that being said, in my thought process, that is how I raised my son. I put a lot of effort in teaching him, carrying him through my emotions as a female, to teach him what, to be sensitive to the female, and to understand that there are going to, there's going to be mood swings, there's going to be all kinds of things, and it's okay to say, how to deal with the female in general. Now, that being said, does it excuse a female to act a darn fool and not have to be held accountable for her actions. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but be cognizant of what a female goes through. I also taught my son, you know, like I didn't hold back. Like I just taught him about responsibility and respecting himself as a man, respecting a woman, because that woman is somebody's daughter. And I also was very adamant at saying, you will never, and by me, and now I can't say what society will say, or, you know, like if you grow up and get married, now this is mind you, when he was younger, if you grow up and get married, what your, you know, like what happens between you and your wife. But I will tell you one thing is, you will always, and as far as I'm concerned, you will always be held accountable for your actions. Like I will never excuse you by saying, you know, because you are a man, you don't know how to deal with these kinds of emotions, or you don't know how to, is that a cop behind me? I don't know. Yeah, it was. Get rid of that guy. You know, because I really feel like that's the biggest cop-out ever. And that's why I feel that we have a lot of issues that we have, like with when people are, you know, like when I listen to women and they talk about like the way their husbands are treating them. And I'm not saying that women don't do the same thing, so don't nobody misunderstand. It's just that, you know, like as a female, a lot of times I'm talking to other women and this is what they complain about all the time. But trust me, I do have some of my male friends, when I am sitting and talking to them, how they complain about the things that women do. So we're not excused from this situation, trust me. I feel that male and female both should be always held accountable for their own actions and never be excused by saying, oh, well, that's just how women are, or that's just how men are. They can't, you know, men aren't in touch with their, you know, emotional side, or they don't know how to say they're sorry, or they don't, excuse me, you open up your dang mouth and you say it. That's how you say it. And just because you're a man, or you know, or a woman in menopause, doesn't excuse you from saying I'm sorry. You know, if I go out here and I act, you know, if I go out here, let's just say, you know, we'll use the phrase, like let's just say I go as, you know, as a woman, and I do something very deceitful to my husband, you know, I don't know, lie to him about whatever, and but it's during the time that I'm on my period, and so, you know, like my emotions are all tied up and I'm just all like over the place. That give me the right to say, well, because I'm a female and I was having an emotional time, I'm excused from this, and society should just be like, well, it was only because of that. No. Everybody should be held accountable for their own actions of what they do. I'm so sorry. I just have believed that from the, I mean, because I hold myself accountable. Like, you know, I will tell you in a minute the things that upset me, or like certain things that I know are my weaknesses, or my bad, you know, like my bad points, you know, I will tell you. But I also will come clean. Like if I say, you know what, this is a sensitive subject with me, and generally when someone like maybe go there with me, I might get a little abrupt or whatever, but I will come back and I will, you know, be the first one to acknowledge when I was wrong and say, you know what, I was wrong, blase, I apologize. I'm never above apologizing, and I will never excuse anyone by saying that just because of their gender that they should be excused from this, or it's okay for me to just be like, well, you know, this is just typical of how, you know, males are or how females are. No, everyone needs to be held accountable. I don't know, that's such a pet peeve of mine. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine last night, and I was like, you know, we were just discussing that, and she was saying that, you know, she kind of felt the same way that I did. And I get it that a lot of people may not feel that way, because, you know, typically society says most of the time, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean that I'm just saying it's only men, because I don't mean it like that, but society do generally excuse male behavior a lot towards females, or towards relationships, or towards like, you know, the typical things they do. I mean, I've heard women say, you know, well, you know, men just will be men. They like to have their little thing on the side. I'm like, excuse me? And so you're going to be okay with that because You know, I've heard some of the darndest things before, and it blows my mind. I don't excuse anybody because of their gender. I'm sorry. You know, if I come to you and I say, you hurt my feelings, you hurt me, you know, be man, woman enough to look me in my face and say, I'm sorry. And if you can't, you suck for not being able to do it. Plain and simple, in my opinion, that is. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I just, you know, I was thinking about it at work today. I was talking to my girlfriend last night on the phone, and then I actually talked to a male friend of mine. And, you know, and he was like, girl, I know how you are about that. And I was like, yeah. And, you know, and I said, you know, because I don't think we should, as women, should be excused for certain things just because we're women. Like, you know, like when it comes to like emotional type things, like, you know, just chalk it up, well, she's a woman, just excuse her. Well, no. I mean, you know, I don't know. I just feel very strongly about that. And my male friend was like, I have to agree with you though. You know, he goes, by his own admittance, like he said, it took him a long time to get that figured out. And he was like, yeah, you know, he goes, it took me, you know, I lost my marriage over not being able to figure it out. And he goes, you know, me and my ex-wife are friends now, but you know, we were able to, you know, be friends and stuff now. But like the truth of the matter is that I lost my marriage behind crap like that. Like I was not, I mean, like I would not, I wanted to do what I wanted to do or be excused just because I was a male. And I didn't feel like I had to be held accountable for anything. And she gave me the warning signs. She asked me, you know, she put it out there, what she needed, what she desired, what she wanted. And I basically didn't hold up my end of the bargain. I kind of let it fall by the wayside. And then when she served me with divorce papers, I was like, well, you know, like pretty much, bro, you brought this on your own. And like he said, like I didn't admit that right away. At first, of course, I cursed her out and said all kinds of crazy things and, you know, called her the B word and everything else because I was pissed off at her. But like he said, inadvertently, girl, I came clean one day and I had to sit down and look her in her face and said, you know what? I was wrong. I was not listening to you, and I wanted to be, and basically, like, I fell into, you know, men just don't do those kinds of things, and it cost me my marriage, you know. And he goes, I will never be able to go back and redo that or relive that because I wasn't the person that I should have been. And this was coming from a male friend of mine. So, you know, I was like, yeah, you know. And he was like, so I know how strongly you feel about it because, you know, you've always said that, you've always stuck to your guns about that, but you always hold your own self accountable. So it's not a double-ended sword. Like you definitely, you know how to, you know, basically tuck your tail between your legs and say, hey, I messed up or whatever. So, you know, I'm gonna give you props on that. And so anyway, it was just like having like another female perspective and then a male perspective of it. And when I have a male that really acknowledged, and he did lose a lot, mind you, he's been a friend of mine for years, and you know, he and his wife got divorced. She doesn't live here anymore, but he ended up, actually he left for a while, but he's back here now. But he retired here now, military world. But you know, it is true. Like, you know, he went through a lot and lost a lot behind being bullheaded and stubborn-headed. And that's what I really call it, is being bullheaded and stubborn-headed, because you feel like nobody, like men, when people just keep excusing it, men's heads get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're allowed to do more and more and more. Or a female, whatever the case may be. Every time you excuse a person from from being accountable, they become that much stronger and not being accountable in life in general. And we have to at some point realize that we got to stop doing that. Like, I can't do it, you can't do it, he can't do it. We all have to stop doing it. So anyway, that's just one of those little things that I was thinking about today. And I was just like, you know, well, I was thinking about it last night. And then, you know, like I was thinking today, I'm going to do a brief little mini video on it and just like, you know, throw it out there. So, you know, guys, comment below and tell me what you think about like people being held accountable for their own actions and not being excused just because they're a male or just because they're a female and saying this is the way females act or this is the way males act. While we don't mean every single female or every single male, nobody get their panties in a wad and think that, you know, this isn't a bash type of a video. This is really just stating a fact of how we as a society tend to feel that, and it's more so men than women, I feel, from everything that I look at, that a lot of things are excused because of a person being a male, and their behavior or their ability to mistreat somebody is all excused because the male has a hard time with this, or the male can't do this, or whatever. And like, what is your take on that? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, I don't know that I can say, I mean, I can't sit here and say that I agree with that. I just can't. That's myself personally. But we're all different people. So there is no right or wrong answer to this question. Like, you know, basically you just share your opinion. And to each their own, because we are all entitled to feel or think the way we want to. And that's the beauty of it all, is that, you know, but I'm just curious, like, you know, how many people out there, and if I have any male subscribers, please definitely tune into this comment and let me know, like how do you, like, have you ever been in a situation where you have, like, you know, felt like you are to be excused because you are a male, and this is just how men are, and that, you know, get over it because this is just how men are? And how many of you have been that way and lost something behind it, and now you see you know, you see your ways of being wrong, like you realize, like, you know, I screwed up or whatever. So definitely, men, if I have any men subscribers, definitely tune into this. And again, like I said, this is not male bashing or anything like that. And females, the same thing to you. Like, if you are, you know, like, what's your opinion about it? Like, do you view, like, a male, in a male perspective, do you view that a male, like, basically because he is a male, that he should be excused for certain things? Like, it's okay for him to do certain things or say certain things or treat you a certain way because he is a male, and it's typically the way you, as, you know, the male person acts. And so should it be okay or excused? I'm just curious. So comment below, give me your input. Like, I love these kind of conversations because I really get into, like, how everyone thinks, and, you know, and I never at any point ever feel like, you know, oh my God, my way is the highway. It's my way or the highway. I always say, you know, I love to hear why people think the way that they think, because it's always so interesting. Like, you know, like, what makes people think that, oh, it is okay, or like, why, at what point in their life did they come up with this conclusion, or, you know, whatever. I just love it. Like I said, I can have the conversation with the most randomest people because I love getting information from the most randomest people, and I love a good conversation about some good stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna get off now because I'm turning into my subdivision. You guys don't forget, you know what to do. Comment, rate, and subscribe. And by all means, when you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell, because we don't want you to miss out on any of these crazy vlogs, and especially these little series that I've been doing on my drive home, or like randomly pulling over on the side of the road. This time it was not really, the traffic was very lightweight, and the weather is kind of holding off, although it looks like the sky is going to fall out any minute now. But as of right now, the weather is good. So you know, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of these crazy vlogs of mine, or when I just do a set down video, whatever. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my very next vlog.